Every so often, the next lesson for me to learn shows up over and over in different disguises until I get it. I am fully still in the process of learning this one, but this project itself was one of those messages, so I'd like to share the story with you. Have a seat, grab some tea, here we go. The first time this lesson made sense consciously was in a conversation over Trader Joe's seltzers and cheese, repeatedly pausing and starting Twin Peaks because we both wanted to talk about life and be swept away from it at the same time. We were talking about effort and how constantly showing up and efforting when you don't get the results that you want is disheartening at best and a concrete boot on the brakes at worst. In the binary of the journey and the result, I feel I have been implicitly taught that the result is the most important part. There are the old quotes talking about how the journey is the destination, but to be honest, those quotes have always felt like something everyone wants to believe, but not many really do. Even more maddening to me than the journey is the destination is trust the process, which to me feels like the process is something that is happening to me in service of some promised result. The process isn't to be enjoyed, but rather tolerated in service of the green grass on the other side. So between glimpses of Dale Cooper and bites of Gruyere, we talked about how we were finding ourselves holding on too tightly to our desired outcomes, like trying to cram too much clay into a mold, too many sweatshirts into a carry-on suitcase. Chasing control of the outcome pulls me out of the present moment and plants me in an anxious, imagined future. It doesn't feel good, and I think that it also doesn't work. Nothing is for certain, so no amount of force will thwart spirit, karma, or chance, stirring things up and dropping you in a future where your desired outcome is notably absent. I'm not saying not to plan or not to have goals or not to visualize or breathe into the positive changes that you want into your life. I support and I suggest all of these things. But what I'm trying to let go of is the feeling of needing to control the outcome and instead to attach to the work I am doing to get there. I want to work peacefully instead of frantically, and to be proud of myself even when the result is embarrassing or painful or just doesn't feel how I imagined it would. I am always trying to be open to the truth in whatever way it chooses to show up. The messages show up how they want to, and I think some leave more open to interpretation than others. This one was loud and clear. I made this teddy bear out of one of my own old shirts and the same pattern that my mom used to make bears for her friends' kids back in the 90s. This was a congrats on being a big sister present for my friend's 3-year-old to honor the birth of a new baby in the family. But if you know 3-year-olds, you know that they have particular taste, and let's just say that this bear was not what she wanted in that moment. Luckily, I went into this project knowing that could happen, and I intentionally was not attached to whether or not she liked it because I knew there was no way to control that. Of course, I hoped she would, and as a fellow big sister myself who had a tricky time with the transition from only child to big sibling, I wanted to give her this gift as a way of saying, I see you in this big moment. I hope that that part is felt eventually, and that someday she decides to snuggle with the bear. Maybe she won't, and that's really okay too. And another piece of this whole thing, my friends, her parents, they felt loved by the gift, which was a part of the outcome that I hadn't really been thinking about because I was so focused on what their daughter would think. And I, for one, welcome any time I can show my friends how much I love and care about them. I didn't even realize I was practicing this concept until I looked back with that classic 2020 hindsight, but I am grateful I was able to connect the dots. So to sum up, I am finding ways, big and small, to attach myself to the work, not to the outcome. And if you want a way to practice this yourself, may I suggest making a gift for a 3-year-old? This pattern is not my own, but it is very clever and it makes like a very cuddly bear. I really love the bears. Every one that I make is just like perfect for cuddling. So if you want to make one yourself, I've linked the pattern for you below. Let me know if you make it because it is pretty fun to watch this bear just like come into life. Yeah, let me know if you make it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Take good care of yourself. Bye. You need to calm down. You want to do this with me?